Well, this month it's going to be why do formulas not work for artists? I mean, they can work, but why are formulas detrimental to the creative process should be a better way of putting it. You know, I've always said to my students and my mentees that there are guidelines to the art making process, but there are no rules. One guideline is oil and water don't mix. Now, you don't want to mix acrylic paints and oil paints together, but for instance, you can put oil on top of acrylic, but you can't put acrylic on top of oil because it will crack because it's plastic. Now, of course, you can do it because it's just a guideline, not a rule. And if you think about it, some of the biggest inventions that we've had over the course of history has often been through experimentation, not following the rules of the formulas. And anyone who has been around for a while, taking my classes or listening to, watching my videos, come to a workshop, one of the biggest things I say is take a risk. Take a risk, and then take another risk. Because a whole bunch of risks and things that aren't formulaic is usually how we come across finding our own voice and also finding new ways of moving forward into this precious life we have on planet Earth. And God only knows we need more people that don't follow along like sheep. And I'm one of those. I'm one of those instructors, mentors that is all about don't follow the sheep. There is no way, in many ways, to make a 3-step good acrylic painting. I mean, sure, it could be the kind of painting that you want to put up at Target. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know, people want to make money, and I think that's fine. But if you're looking to really be an artist, it's good to go your own way. It can be frustrating, but to put in your 10,000 miles, and the best studio practice can be a closed studio door. So those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Lauren Montacon. I am a visual painter and a mentor and a teacher who has been working for over 30 years. I'm interested in the individual, and for my own individual practice, I'm definitely interested in the crossover of life into metaphysics, into spiritual practices. Now, we all know we live in a world of chaos right now. And chaotic ways of being in the world often leads to creative new solutions. And I can only hope that with the breakdown of what we're all witnessing is the prerequisite to the building of a new world. I'm holding that in complete faith. And what is faith? You know, that's actually a good question. I've come up against it a lot lately. I've been going through a chronic illness, or an illness that has gone on for months and months. And it's autoimmune, so it has its own morphing trajectory. And I want a formula. I've realized over the months, I've wanted a formula to show me the way of how to heal. And what I'm hard to admit, but what I'm coming across more and more, and I see this in an art practice as well. It's what I've been teaching for years. It's a lot of it when you are having mysterious, invisible illness in many ways. You've got to rely on your intuition, and you've got to rely on your own research and your own practice, and there isn't a pill just to make it better. And it's also not giving up hope and leaning into faith. So within that, I have to take my own risks in what it is I practice. Have it be deeper breathing, deeper meditation, because when I'm just lying here, I can spin out in my head, and to drop from my head to my heart. And I've been saying this to years to people who come to me with painting. You're not going to figure out how to make a really great painting in your head. I mean, you might if it's all representational. I come from an abstract basis, which I think is poetry. And I think really taking in the whole, not compartmentalizing, just like our bodies. You know, it's all related. Now, of course, risk-taking doesn't always work so great when you're relying on a certain meditation or a practice with a broken leg. You know, there's usually a formula of how to fix that broken leg. But how that broken leg heals is going to be individual for every single person. So, this month, our prompt is, there is no formula to our progression as artists in a creative practice. So, we're going to start with a meditation. And when we're done with the meditation, I'm going to invite you to begin a painting a little backwards in how you usually start. If you start with pastel on paper, maybe start with paint on paper. If you start with a smooth background, maybe don't have a background at all and just kind of go for it. Anything to mix up your formula. And then to see what happens from there. And then, of course, to take risks. So this might be a point in this recording where I invite you to go get a drink of water, take a little break, then come back, and we'll begin. So, find yourself in a comfortable position. Have that be either laying down or sitting up. And I just want you to focus in on your breath. Breathing in, breathing out. And I want you to contemplate as we do 2 more breaths. What is the word essence, ESSENCE, mean to you in your beingness? What is your essence? Can you feel it? Do you see a word, a color, or a shape? Take a moment to take that in. Really feel into it. And now as you take in this essence, see if you can cocoon yourself. And what I mean by that is if you were to immerse yourself into a blanket of your own essence. And with your eyes closed, and just breathing in and out in a normal pace. I want you to reflect on a time where you have followed a formula. There's algebra. There's a formula for painting. If you do A equals B, you'll get C. Did you compartmentalize when you were doing that? Or did you take in the whole as you were doing this formula? We all have formulas. I have a formula that I do for painting, but I developed it over years, and I always have to remember to stir it up, because otherwise I'm producing the same painting again and again. So as you contemplate this formula, I now want you to imagine in front of you is a big movie screen. And you're going to start a painting in your mind's eye, in your imagination, doing something very different. It could be a mark, could be a color, but you're definitely not following your normal formula. And now, just take that in. If nothing comes in your mind's eye, not to worry. Sometimes we sense things more. We hear things audio. We're more visual. And now I want you to make another mark. If you usually do circles, do diagonal or vice versa. Just something that moves away from your formula. And now speed up the process. Move quicker. Until finally you see a finished result. It could be just one big mess, doesn't matter. I want you to sit back and take it in as a whole. Not like, oh, that left corner works, that right corner works. But to just, as best to your ability with non-judgment, read it like you're reading the whole thing at once. Is it chaotic? Is chaos uncomfortable for you? Or is order more comfortable for you? It's just something to pay attention to. And when you're done, I want you to take a deep breath and let something go. Whew. Slowly wiggle your fingers, your toes, gently open your eyes. Formulas are dangerous for artists. That's really my short message for this month. So go on out there, allow yourself to break the rules. Remember, there's only guidelines. There are no rules. Go ahead and mix that water and oil, and I'll see you all next time.